Nye, and in this Christmas special, we'll be discussing the skeletal system. Bones are living tissue that have their own blood vessels and are made of living cells, which help them grow and repair themselves. Joints are formed where two or more bones come in close contact and are attached to each other by ligaments or cartilage. With bones and joints comes ligaments, which are connective tissue that connect one bone to another, and tendons, which connect one muscle to a bone. A different type of structure in the system is cartilage, which is made of specialized cells called chondrocytes, and is a connective tissue that is found in our ears and our nose. Our bones are what give our body structure, and if we didn't have our skeletal system, we'd be a pile of goo. So consider the following.
Bone cancer can be classified into two categories. Primary bone cancer, which is a cancer that has started in the cells of the bones. There are several different types of bone cancer, including osteosarcoma, chondrosarcoma, Ewing sarcoma, spindle cell sarcoma, and chordoma. Primary bone cancers are extremely rare. Most people have cancer cells in their bodies actually don't have primary bone cancer. They have cancer cells that have spread into the bone from a cancer elsewhere in the body. This is called secondary cancer. Nearly all types of cancers can spread to the bones. The type of primary cancer you have is very important. Cancers respond to treatment according to the type of primary cancer, which means the treatments vary. For osteosarcoma, Ewing sarcoma, and spindle cell sarcoma, doctors often give chemotherapy before surgery to help shrink the tumor and make it easier to remove. Another treatment is surgery, which you will have depending on the size of cancer, where it is in your body, and whether it has grown into the tissue surrounding the bone. Surgeons may suggest removing the bone affected by the cancer, limb-sparing surgery, removal of an arm or leg, and surgery to remove cancer that has spread. You may have radiotherapy as your main treatment instead of surgery if the tumor is difficult to remove surgically. For example, Ewing sarcoma sometimes develops in the pelvis and it may have been very difficult to remove. According to the American Cancer Society's estimates for cancer for the bones and joints for 2015 are that about 2,970 new cases will be diagnosed and that 1,490 deaths from the cancers are expected. Primary cancers of bones account for less than 0.2% of all cancers.
Do you want to help thousands of people who suffer from bone cancer? Donate to the Stem Cell Research Foundation. In a typical stem cell transplant, people with cancer are given very high doses of chemotherapy, sometimes even along with radiation. In this treatment, it kills stem cells, but also bone marrow, to get rid of the cancer cells. Soon after the treatment, stem cells are given to replace those that were destroyed. Stem cells are given into the vein, much like a blood transfusion, and over time they settle into the bone marrow and begin to grow and make strong, healthy cells. You can save a life.
Here's a cool experiment to show how important the minerals in our bones are. The next time you have a delicious chicken dinner, save the bones, most preferably the leg bones, since they are the biggest. Rinse off the bones in water to remove any meat from the bone. Notice how hard the bone is? Put the bones into a jar and cover the bones with vinegar. It might be a good idea to put a lid or a jar on the cut or cover it. Let it sit for 3 days. After 3 days, remove the bone. It should feel different when you bend it. The vinegar is considered a mild acid, but it is strong enough to dissolve the calcium in the bone, and once the calcium is gone, there is nothing to keep the bone hard. All that is left is soft bone tissue.
Did you know that your bones are natural healers and growers? Not only do they undergo a process called bone remodeling, in which your osteoblasts and osteoclasts work together to shape and form your bone, but they also undergo a process of healing when your bone fractures. Some type of fractures include green stick fractures, transverse, oblique, buckled, pathologic, and hairline fractures. To heal a fracture, blood rushes into the area to form a clot called a fracture hematoma. Then, cells called fibroblasts begin to produce fibers of collagen, the major protein in bone and connective tissue. Chondroblasts then begin to produce a type of cartilage called fibrocartilage. This transforms the callus into a tougher callus, which bridges the gap between two bones. Then, osteoblasts move in to form and make a strong new bone.
Hey!
Oh, hey, I didn't know you were here.
Yeah, I heard you talking and I just wanted to tell you, did you know that males and females have different skeletal structures? Males tend to have a larger, more robust bones and joint surfaces, and more bone development and muscle attachment sites. The pelvis and the skull also have features that help indicate whether the skeleton is a male or female. Males have a narrower heart-shaped pelvic inlet and a narrower angle for the two pubic bones meet in front, while females have an open, circular inlet Wider angle where the two pubic bones meet in the front. More outwardly flared hip bones.
Well, now you know.
Well, guys, I'm sorry to tell you that this Christmas edition of Bill Nye is coming to an end. But just before I go, I got some more facts about bones and joints. Other than providing structure, bones are also involved with blood making. Within the bone marrow, all blood comes from a single type of unspecialized cell called a stem cell. When the stem cell divides, it first becomes a red blood cell, a white blood cell, or a platelet-producing cell. The immature cell first divides, then matures further, and ultimately becomes a mature red blood cell, or white blood cell, or a platelet. Lastly, if you didn't know, there are different types of joints known as synovial, cartilaginous, fibrous, ball and socket, hinge, gliding, pivot, and compound. And that's all I got for now. Until next time!
Bones, 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 they are what help you stand. Oh, what fun it is to walk and jump and play all day. Yeah! Bones, 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 they are what help you stand. Oh, what fun it is to walk and jump and play all day. Yeah! Dashing through the snow with our tibia and our fibula. Oh, oh, how they carry us, running all the day. Ha, 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 cranium of the sternum, making spirits bright. What fun it is to have our bones so we can have a structure. Yeah! Bones, 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 they are what help you stand. Oh, what fun it is to walk and jump and play all day. Yeah! Bones, 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 they are what help you stand. Oh, what fun it is to walk and jump and play all day. Yeah!
Bones, 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 instead of bones, bones, bonesy bones. Cranium, mandible, don't forget the clavicle. Sternum, rib, scapula, and ultimately the ulna. Humerus, radius, humerus. Ha ha ha! Pelvis, sacrum, coccyx, and the lumbar vertebra. Oh, bones, 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 instead of bones, bones, bonesy bones.
It doesn't sound right.
You need. Let's think of a name.
It doesn't
matter about if
That sounds like a bone and goes with olive.
Ulna.
Vanessa, are you?
Consider the following. Bone cancer can be classified into two categories.
Bones, 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 bones.
I didn't have the time.
What fun it is to walk and jump and play all day. Yeah, bones, 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 bones. Forget it.
I told you go over there. One of the thousands of people who suffer from bone cancer. Stem cells are replaced in a typical stem cell transplant. People would give
Skeletal system. Bones are living tissue in our own blood vessels.
in which your osteoblasts and osteoclasts work together to form and shape your bone, but they also go through a process when. Did you know that your bones are natural healers and growers? Not only do they undergo a process called different skeletal structures and tissue veins are slowed form a clot called a fracture hematoma. Then connective tissues form. Like angle it down just a little bit, Sissy. There you go. Okay,
So the males and females have a different bone structure. Males have
Joints are formed where two or more bones come together.
ready?
Wait. Action.
Oh wait, that was too soon.
Okay.
Come on.
Hey guys, I'm.
Thank you. What? Green stick fractures. Ah. Okay, that was my fault. We'll do it again.
Which means that treatments vary. For osteosarcoma,